Have you ever heard of the first city ever built? How about the first person to build a house? Weirdly enough, we get the name of the first builder. As you might expect, the details surrounding Enoch, son of Cain, are frustratingly scarce. The Bible only mentions him twice and offers few details about his life or legacy, but because his name echoes throughout history, there's much to unpack in his story. It doesn't tell us whether he walked with God or strayed from him, whether he repented of his father's sin or perpetuated its legacy. He represents the dawn of civilization, a pivotal moment when humanity began to move beyond nomadic existence and establish permanent settlements. The establishment of the city of Enoch signifies a shift in human history. This text, known as the Book of Enoch, offers a glimpse into a rich spiritual tradition that existed within early Judaism but was ultimately excluded from the biblical canon. The book, written in the late 3rd century BCE or early 1st century CE, the very fact that he took the trouble to preserve his name in Genesis, even if he left his story shrouded in silence, suggests that his story matters. Enoch's life, though largely silent, speaks volumes about the burden of inherited sin and exile, yet it also whispers of the potential for hope, choice, and even redemption. This story is a potent reminder that God's mercy is not confined to the righteous, but reaches into the messy complexities of human history. It's a beacon of hope for those who feel burdened by their past, reminding them that they are not defined by their origins, but empowered by the possibilities that lie ahead. Even though Enoch's life remains shrouded in biblical neglect, his existence holds profound theological and historical significance. His story invites us to reflect on the complexities of legacy, the weight of history, and the enduring impact of sin and exile on human existence. By exploring the life of Enoch, son of Cain, we gain a deeper appreciation for the tapestry of human experience and the challenges faced by those who navigate a world marked by brokenness, while still holding on to the faintest glimmer of hope. Contains several fascinating narratives and teachings that shed light on topics such as angelic activity, the fallen angels, the nature of sin, and the coming Messiah. Its inclusion in the Dead Sea Scrolls further emphasizes its importance in shaping early Christian thought. It suggests that even within the confines of a cursed lineage, the potential for change and growth exists. It is a testament to the enduring human spirit and the capacity to rise above the limitations imposed by circumstance. Despite its historical significance, the book was ultimately banned from the biblical canon during the Council of Hippo in 393, and later solidified at the Council of Carthage in 397. If you enjoyed this episode, please remember to leave a comment below and subscribe for more content. Your engagement helps us continue to uncover and share these fascinating stories from the Bible's past. Thanks for watching. The reasons behind its exclusion likely stemmed from concerns about its theological implications. Some parts of the book, particularly those related to angelic beings and fallen angels, were seen as straying too far from orthodox beliefs. The Book of Enoch, with its detailed accounts of angelic rebellion, the Nephilim, and apocalyptic visions, presented a complex theological landscape. Its ideas challenged conventional understandings of the spiritual realm, the nature of good and evil, and the prophetic destinies of Israel. For instance, it provided elaborate descriptions of heavenly places and heavenly beings, which some viewed as encroaching on the divine mystery. Additionally, the book's concept of fallen angels and their interactions with humans introduced a level of angelology that was considered unorthodox. While the Book of Enoch enriched early Christian discussions about spiritual realities, its more controversial elements eventually led to its exclusion from the official biblical canon. However, its profound influence on early Christian thought cannot be overlooked. It marks the point where humanity consciously begins to shape its own destiny, apart from the immediate guidance of divine revelation. Its rediscovery in the 20th century sparked renewed interest in its teachings and its potential contribution to our understanding of early religious traditions. Today, scholars continue to explore its rich symbolism, its unique perspective on biblical narratives, and its broader historical context. Moreover, the book's inclusion in the Dead Sea Scrolls highlights its importance in the formation of early Christian beliefs. By examining the Book of Enoch, readers can gain insights into the spiritual struggles, theological debates, and apocalyptic hopes that characterized the era leading up to the development of early Christianity. It serves as a reminder that the biblical texts we hold today emerged from a broader spectrum of religious thought, and that our understanding of early Christianity is enriched by exploring these diverse voices. This intentional omission leaves us with a sense of mystery and invites us to reflect on the complexities of human existence. There's Enoch, the son of Cain, who we just explored, and Enoch, the son of Jared, who descended from Seth. The latter is celebrated as a righteous man who walked closely with God and was miraculously translated, meaning he was taken directly to heaven without experiencing death. This stark contrast between the two Enochs highlights the paradoxical nature of human existence. Despite sharing the same name, each Enoch embodies a different spiritual path. One represents a lineage marred by sin and separation from God, while the other embodies a life of faith and closeness to the divine. This duality underscores the biblical theme that individuals bear responsibility for their choices, regardless of their background or family tree. It also hints at the idea that even within a cursed lineage like that of Cain, the possibility of faith and salvation remains. Within this narrative vacuum, we're left to contemplate the essence of legacy, the burden of family history, and the nature of choice in a world marked by sin and exile. So let's dive into what we know and what we can surmise about him, but nothing else about him. His name was Enoch, son of Cain, and today we're going to learn what little the Bible has to say about him. What do we know about the first builder? Let's dig into the details. In today's episode of the Buried History series, I'm your host. After Adam and Eve sinned, they left the garden and had children. Their first son was Cain, and his brother's name was Abel. Yet it was also a deliberate choice to build permanence in a place where God had already pronounced judgment. Naming the city after his son was almost like a rededication to the bloodline from which he came, a physical manifestation of the lineage he feared God would erase. It was a bold move, as if to say, though God curses me and my descendants, I will rise above it and establish myself. This was a direct challenge to God's sovereignty and an attempt to secure a place of safety separate from God's judgment. By founding the city of Enoch, Cain hoped to construct an identity, a legacy, a place of belonging and security that would transcend the volatile relationship he had with God. When it was time for them to make offerings to God, Cain brought some of the fruit from the ground, and Abel brought an offering of some of his flock. God accepted Abel's sacrifice, but rejected Cain's offering. In a fit of rage, Cain murdered his brother Abel, becoming the first murderer and establishing a dark legacy of violence within his bloodline. God was very clear that he would curse Cain and his descendants, declaring, "You are cursed from the ground itself. When you till it, it shall not yield its strength to you. No longer will it be a pleasant land, a fruitful land. You shall banish from its face the ground that is yours." After committing this heinous act, Cain wandered from the Lord, becoming the first exile. He settled in the land of Nod, east of Eden. It was here, outside of God's presence and under the shadow of his curse, that he built a city and gave it the name Enoch, after his son. When we read through Scripture, it's easy to miss the significance of this act. Building a city seemed like a natural progression. It was a step toward civilization. As we ponder this story, it's important to acknowledge that the Bible is remarkably silent about Enoch's life, his personality, his faith, his doubts, his fears. Within the biblical narrative, Enoch's existence bridges the gap between the primeval past and the patriarchal age. Another layer of intrigue is added to the story with the inclusion of two individuals named Enoch in the Bible. To understand the full scope of Enoch's legacy, we must acknowledge the existence of an ancient text attributed to him. Despite being largely forgotten in mainstream religious discourse, the Book of Enoch continues to captivate those seeking a deeper understanding of early Jewish and Christian thought. While we may never know much about Enoch, son of Cain, the Bible wants us to know that God remembers the forgotten. The overarching message of this narrative seems to be that though Cain's line was cursed, the possibility of redemption and choice remains. For those who find themselves wrestling with a legacy of pain or a history marked by brokenness, Enoch's story offers a sense of solace and encouragement. Thank you for joining me today to explore the intriguing life of Enoch, son of Cain.